The People's Choice.
It is Monday, the 1st of February 2021. The news is read by Merrano Isaacs. Good morning. Scholarship opportunities for specialization in mass communication, journalism and marketing will be available for reporters and other media personnel, President Dr. Irfan Ali announced on Sunday. The President made the announcement during his presentation at the annual media brunch held at State House. The media, he noted, plays an important role in development, and both the media and government have common agenda to see a better country for all of its citizens. With this in mind, he said the scholarships for media representatives will help in building a professional media corps. The local media corps, the President said, will be actively engaged in the developmental agenda of the government. He also said that post-cabinet press briefings will resume and his government will continue to be accessible to members of the media. The media, he said, can play a vital role in building a cohesive Guyana. In recognizing the work of the media, he commended local journalists for their coverage during the recent 5-month-long election and the role they played in preserving democracy. President of the Guyana Press Association, GPA, Nazima Ragabir, who also addressed the gathering, acknowledged, while there have been some challenges, the media must serve its role in providing impartial and factual information on issues that affect the lives of Guyanese. She called on health officials to have more frequent interactions with the media, contending that this will allow for timely and accurate coverage of the pandemic that continues to affect the life of all Guyanese. The GPA, Ragabir said, is also committed to lifting the standard of journalism in Guyana. For a few seconds on Sunday afternoon, sometime around 15 hours 3, persons across Guyana questioned whether a big truck was passing outside of their homes or whether they were experiencing a dizzy spell. But it was that a 5.7 earthquake struck Boavista, Brazil, resulting in tremors and some damage to properties and earth surfaces in Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo. The earthquake was subsequently confirmed by the Civil Defense Commission, CDC, which stated that it was an earthquake with a shallow depth of 10 kilometers and an epicenter near Boavista in the Brazilian state of Roraima. A statement from the CDC noted that the regional authorities of Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo Region 9 have confirmed that there are some damages to properties and earth surfaces in the region due to the 5.7 magnitude earthquake that shook several parts of Guyana earlier on Sunday. Damage to properties and earth surfaces were discovered in the Katunarib community, deep south Rupununi. The CDC further noted that the regional response system was mobilized and was ready to conduct an assessment in the area. Support, the CDC noted, would also be provided to affected families. On Sunday evening, Regional Chairman of Region 9, Brian Alicock, told the Guyana Chronicle that there were no reports of severe damage recorded in the region at the time, based on reports from the military personnel monitoring the border between Guyana and Brazil and from local enforcement authorities. Chairman Alicock said on Monday we'll go down further south and see if there have been any damages, because we heard that farther south might have felt the tremors stronger. The CDC also noted that it will continue to monitor the event through the National Emergency Monitoring System, NEMS, and provide updates as soon as information becomes available. Anyone who suffered any damages from the impact is asked to contact NEMS at 592-600-7500 or at 592-623-1700. With supplies running low aboard the Lady Nayara and the Seawolf, which are both detained in Venezuela, the 12-member crew is yet to ascertain from authorities whether there food, water, and other necessities will be provided to them. The fishermen have been in the custody of Venezuelan authorities for a little under 2 weeks, so it is not only expected that food and other supplies would run low, since a fishing exercise usually lasts for about 20 days, and they were already 15 days into the trip prior to being captured. It was reported that Venezuelan naval troops entered Guyana's territory and apprehended the 2 vessels, which are both operated and owned by Guyanese, on January 21, 2021. According to information from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Captain Richard Ramnarine of the Lady Nayara and Captain Tony Garraway of the Seawolf, after being apprehended in the Waini area, were instructed to chart a course to Portuguera in Venezuela, where both vessels, which are registered in Essequibo, and the 12-member crew who hail from Essequibo have been detained. The crew members of the Seawolf include Garraway, Errol Gardner, Orland Roberts, Christopher Shaw, Shervin O'Neill, and Randy Henry. The crew members of both the Lady Nayara are Ram Narayan, Ram Lakan, Kamal, Nick Ragobar, Javin Boston, Michael Domingo, and Joel Joseph. From all indications, none of the crew members have been harmed, but with supplies running low, the fishermen will have to start inquiring about where their next meal is coming from. The owner of the Seawolf vessel, Kumar Lanbachan, told the Guyana Chronicle on Sunday that Venezuela has not been supplying the fishermen with any food. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Jorge Arieza had assured Guyana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Hugh Todd during a virtual meeting on January 25th that the crew members were being treated with most respect for their human rights. On the same day, the 12-member crew appeared in a Venezuelan court where they were informed that they will be held for 45 days on their boats pending an investigation. But with the provision of supplies by Venezuela still uncertain at this time, Lalbachan and other stakeholders have decided to mobilize ration for the fishermen. And now, regional news. The Windrush Compensation Scheme announced that it has now offered or paid more than £8 million, with more than half of what that offered in the past 6 weeks, since Home Secretary Priti Patel overhauled the scheme, according to a release from the Home Office. Last month, the Home Secretary implemented significant changes to the Windrush Compensation Scheme, increasing the minimum award on the Impact on Life category to £10,000. Provisional figures released show that since December 15, 2020, a further 238 offers have been made worth more than £4.5 million. Up until the end of November 2020, the scheme has paid or offered £3.7 million. Home Secretary Priti Patel said, "I'm really pleased the changes we introduced to the scheme are having immediate impact, with more people receiving significantly higher payments much more quickly. The figure today shows real progress, and we must now keep up that momentum to help many more people get the compensation they deserve." The Home Office release said the checks are made in close consultation with members of the Windrush generation, community leaders, stakeholders, and the cross-government Windrush Working Group co-chaired by Bishop Derek Webley. And now international news. Myanmar's military has seized power after detaining civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other senior members of her governing party. All authorities have been given to the top army commander, and a one-year state of emergency has been declared, a statement on military TV said. The coup follows a landslide win by Ms. Suu Kyi's party in an election which the army claims was marred by fraud. She urged her supporters not to accept this and protest against the coup. In a letter written in preparation for her impending detention, she said the military's actions put the country back under dictatorship. Myanmar, also known as Burma, was ruled by the armed forces until 2011, when democratic reforms spearheaded by Aung San Suu Kyi ended military rule. She spent nearly 15 years in detention between 1989 and 2010. She was internationally hailed as a beacon of democracy and received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991. In the early hours of Monday, the Army's TV station said power had been handed over to Commander-in-Chief Min Aung Hlaing, Ms. Suchi and other leaders of her National League for Democracy, NLD, were arrested. Soldiers blocked the roads in the capital, Nay Pyi Taw, and in the main city, Yangon. The state broadcaster went off the air. Data and communication services have been disrupted. Banks said they had been forced to close, and queues formed at cash machines. One Yangon resident told the Reuters news agency, "I don't know what is happening. I'm a bit scared." The military says it found millions of irregularities in the parliamentary elections lost by the army-backed opposition in November. The Election Commission has rejected the fraud claims, but the army had threatened to take action and now says it will use its emergency powers to organize a new vote. The EU says UK-Swedish drug firm AstraZeneca will now supply an additional 9 million COVID vaccine doses by March after days of criticism of the bloc's vaccination program. Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said it was a step forward, but the 40 million doses now expected are still only about half of what had been hoped amid continuing supply problems. The Commission has been involved in a much-criticized row with both the UK and AstraZeneca this week. In particular, it was condemned over its threat to put checks on the Northern Ireland border to prevent vaccines produced in the EU from reaching the UK. The border was one of the most difficult problems to overcome in the recently agreed Brexit deal following the UK's departure from the EU. The EU was angry that Britain was getting its UK-made contracted supplies from AstraZeneca while it suffered a shortfall, so the bloc announced it was introducing export controls on coronavirus vaccines made inside the EU to try to protect its suppliers. The Brexit deal ensures there are no obstacles to trade between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And now we turn our attention to the world of sport. According to the International Table Tennis Federation, ITTF, there is now hope and relief that 2021 can be a success for table tennis. This is because they know how to make events a reality, even during a pandemic period. Every ITTF event on the 2020 calendar that was slated for March or later was postponed due to the pandemic. After the calendar postponement, the ITTF met in December to discuss the 2020 year and chart a way back for table tennis in 2021. They then released their 2021 calendar of events, which sees at least 2 tournaments per month, except for January and December, which have none. First event on the list, the World Table Tennis Middle East Hub in Qatar, which is slated to begin on February 3rd. Following that is the Caribbean Senior Championships billed for March 3 to 8 in Havana. Cuba immediately after the Caribbean team qualifications to Cali 2021 Pan American Junior Games begins on March 9th and runs until March 11th. This will also take place in Cuba. However, it is important to note that the ITTF calendar is subject to change due to the pandemic forcing new parameters. England's cricketers have been cleared to leave quarantine in India after the squad returned negative COVID-19 results. The full group will now be able to train together for the first time since arriving from Sri Lanka on Wednesday. Ben Stokes, Jofra Archer and Rory Burns have already begun training, having arrived in India separately after missing the Sri Lanka series. The first stretch of the 4-match series begins in Chennai on Friday. The Duke of Cambridge has called for racist abuse at footballers to stop, calling it despicable. Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford was the latest player, subjected to racist abuse this weekend after a series of incidents. On Sunday, Greater Manchester Police began an investigation into the abuse. And writing on Twitter, Prince William, who is also president of the Football Association, praised those who had spoken out. He said racist abuse, whether on the pitch, in the stands or on social media, is despicable and it must stop now. And that's your newscast this Monday morning, the 1st of February 2021, with special credits to Guyana Chronicle, Caribbean News Global and the BBC. For these stories and more, do visit our website at www.realfmgy.com.